Do you sometimes worry that you're gonna forget your presentation material? Do you sometimes spend hours worrying about, man, the little voice in your head, what if I forget my talk? What's gonna happen? Right? Do you sometimes say no to presentation opportunities because you're afraid that you're gonna blank, quote unquote, you're gonna forget your entire talk? If you do, I have a solution for you. This is Roberto Monaco with InfluenceOlogy. I was just actually doing a Google Hangout for this group, and someone asked me this question. Someone said, hey, I have a bad memory and I feel like I'm gonna forget my information, and therefore I don't speak. So that's why that question caused me to record this video, to share to some of you at least that if you have this issue, I want to help you out. Now, 5 quick things, ideas. Number 1, you gotta change your belief system. Most of us inexperienced presenters that we believe that, oh, if I forget part of presentation, the audience is gonna judge me, therefore my talk won't be effective, or they won't hire me back, or I'm gonna be embarrassed. The truth is that most of the presentations that professional speakers do, they at one point or another they're gonna forget some information. Sometimes they forget a quote or a story, a study, an exercise, but the cool thing is that the audience doesn't notice. That's the cool thing. And because the audience doesn't notice, the speaker is not impacted, because hey, you know what? I don't need to know 100% of my presentation. I don't need to deliver 100% right now. Even if I forget like 5%, 10%, I'll be fine. They have the deep belief system. And a lot of people, they say, oh man, I gotta know and deliver 100% of my talk. Otherwise, if I deliver 99%, it won't be as effective. So I noticed that big time speakers, influencers, communicators, they have a different belief system. It's all about the outcome. They get the outcome, yes. Now, if they forgot part of it, it's okay, because they're about the outcome. So the number 1 thing, change your belief system. Just realize that you are going to forget some of the information, and that's fine, because the audience really will not notice. Therefore, they don't care. Therefore, you'll be able to achieve an outcome. Okay. Number 2, when you obviously gotta rehearse your talk. When you rehearse presentation, don't think in terms of words. Think in terms of chunks, into presentation parts, into blocks of information. Ask yourself, let's say I have like 5 major points or chunks. Then ask yourself, what is my outcome for these 5 ideas, or for these 3 ideas, or for this major idea? Inexperienced presenters, they try to memorize word by word, and now they freak out because sometimes during the process, not only super time consuming, during the process they try to memorize word by word, and then if they, oh man, I forgot their parts, now they freak out. It's really hard to memorize word by word. Now, in very specific cases, I'll tell you here that I recommend someone to actually know word by word. If you're the kind of presenter or sales professional that you have one talk you're going to be doing 100 times, I would say yes. But most of us, when you have a keynote talk here or maybe a presentation there, you're going to do maybe once or twice, then it's really hard to memorize word by word. I don't recommend that. So you want to verbalize. You want to know, instead of like focus on the words, focus on the chunks in the major areas of your talk. Okay, that way you achieve the outcome. You don't worry about forgetting, because instead of memorizing 3,000 words, you worry about 5 major outcomes. Get it? So number 1, change your belief system. Number 2, don't think in terms of words, think in terms of chunks. Number 3, create anchors. Now, anchors meaning that are things that are super powerful, that they're easy to remember. So let's say, for example, I'm gonna do a talk that has 3 major points. My anchors are this piece of content that are really easy to remember. For example, for my chunk number 1 or point number 1, I'll be telling the Fernando story. The second chunk, I'll be talking about the cat and the rat story. The third chunk or point, by the way, I use persuasive chunks as a technology developed InfluenceOlogy. So I call, instead of points, I call chunks. I'm gonna do an exercise. So you see, for every idea, I have this emotional anchor. Could be a story, could be an exercise, could be a picture I'm gonna show to the audience that's very easy to remember. So it's not like words, they're just like, my idea, my concept is anchored to something that's very easy to remember. So now you're going, well, I just have to tell this story, this exercise. So it is easier for you to remember. So as you're rehearsing, number one, you have the belief, hey, if I forget something, that's okay. The audience really will notice. Number two, I'm rehearsing, I'm verbalizing out loud my presentation, and it's not about the words, it's about the chunks, the outcomes, the points that I want to make sure the audience gets it. Number three, for every point, I'm going to have some anchors. Could be a story, could be an exercise, could be an analogy, could be a video, could be an image, so it becomes easier for you to remember those points. The fourth idea, which I always do, I carry with me a handout, and I pass the handout to the audience, because the handout could work as an outline for your talk. Now, some of you will be thinking, Roberto, can I do a PowerPoint? Yes, you can do a PowerPoint too. You can use, I don't like to use PowerPoint as an outline, but you can. Now, I like handout because now the audience have to write things down. I love handouts. I really love them. Now, the cool thing is that you pass a handout to the audience, but yours is complete. So then, in case you forget, guess what? You have a what? A handout, complete. And the last little tip here today, number 5, is this. Have a glass of water, right? So let's say you're doing a presentation, and you change your belief system. That you know what? If I forget something, it's okay, because the audience, they want to notice. Number 2, you rehearse. Instead of focusing on the words, you focus in outcomes, into chunks, into the major points you're trying to communicate. Number 3, for every point you have an anchor. Could be a story, an analogy, a video, an exercise, an image. Number 4, you create a handout, and let's say, and you pass your handout, and your handout is complete, you have your answers there, and let's say right in the middle of your talk you forget something, and you're like, man, forgot something, and you go, hold on, I want to drink some water, and you walk towards the area where you have your glass of water, and you have your handout right there, and you go, must be the air in California. And then you look at the answer here in your handout, and you're good to go. You go back to presentation. Now, I actually had to use that one time, and it was a life-changing strategy. Saved me big time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this 5 quick tips. Number 1, change your belief system. Number 2, don't think in terms of words. Think in terms of chunks or points. Number 3, create an anchor for each point or chunk, so it is easier to remember for you. Number 4, when you're doing a talk, create a handout. Number 5, have a little glass of water with you the whole time, because you might be thirsty doing your presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to learn more about how to use public speaking, presentation, influence to grow your business, to make more money, to help more people, and the coolest part, to be more fulfilled because you're helping more people, just go to www.influenceology.com. Again, www.influenceology.com. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, just subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next video. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Canyon Smith from Whitefish, Montana. I'm a chiropractor. I came to influencing from the front because I was deathly afraid to get in front of people and share my message. Whether it be in front of a camera, whether it be in front of an entire live audience, I just did not want to do it. Within the last 3 days, I've learned the information to be able to overcome my fears. I've learned the information to be able to organize and put together a talk, where now that's all out of my mind. I'm just able to get in front of an audience, I'm be able to share my message. I had the passion, I had the purpose, now I have the communication skills to be able to bring my message to the world. If you're even thinking about furthering your communication skills, this is the place to do it. Thanks.